By now, we have seen multiple horror comedy films in India, and most of them end up being cringe with very regressive humor. But the Stree franchise stands out as one of the best in Indian cinema. How? Let's talk about it. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince, and in the anticipation of Stree 2, which is already breaking box office records, I went back to watch Stree 1 to refresh myself. I'd only seen that movie once in 2018, 6 years ago, and that film has aged really well. It is so good. When you've seen something so far back, your perspective about changes. From it being good, you start losing your memory and it becomes, oh, it was fine, it was okay. And revisiting the film, I realized the attributes that make it stand out, which actually continue into the sequel, which I got to see last night. So what makes this horror comedy franchise special? Point number one, the desiness of it. All the concepts and idea of this franchise are so Indian. They are so rooted into a culture and folklore. The setting is a small town with a lot of history. They have shot at real locations. The supposed ghost, Stree, is dressed in an Indian bridal costume. The powerful weapon is a choti, the braided ponytail. We had films in the past, but most of them felt very Western inspired. But these films feel so heavily inspired by our own culture. Like our protagonist is a great lady suit tailor. When have we ever seen something like this? Number two, the focus on story. Watching both the films, I realized how they don't even waste any time getting into the story. There's no unnecessary setup of a hero or some side plot or unnecessary track. It's not the traditional hero will save the day routine. Instead, we quickly get introduced to this setting, to these various characters and what is happening with them. We get to the plot because the plot is the star of the film. Like, I couldn't even imagine what I witnessed yesterday. The film was supposed to release on 15th, but they kept some preview shows on 14th night. And near me, there were just three shows, and all of them were houseful. I don't remember seeing such a crowd for a non-star film. Like, it was not a Shah Rukh Salman movie or a big pan-Indian South Indian film. They all were there for the content, the brand the first film had established. The horror, the comedy, the love story, all the fun we have, it's all part of the plot. These are not separate things which are just meshed together. Number three, the gender politics. It still surprises me that such mainstream films are talking about this point. That too so openly. It's not as if it's a small message the film is giving. The whole film, the whole concept is around that. It's about Stree. It's about the respect she deserves, which itself is a metaphor for every woman. There are so many direct, brutal one-liners that are just dropped in the film. And with the sequel, they take it one step ahead. And it shows that horror comedy films can be progressive also. And at no point it feels like forced into your face. The film is not ticking a checklist of being woke. It's all part of the narrative. Look at the story beats. The backstory of Stree. She was a prostitute who got married and then killed. And that's how she turned into a ghost. The revelation of her hero's mother. That ending of the first film, it still hits so hard. When they change the line from Stree Kal Aana to Stree Raksha Karna. That simple change is so impactful. It just delivers the message home so well. From being someone people are afraid of to turning into a savior for these people. And that's what's carried in the sequel. Number four, the casting. They didn't go for big stars for this franchise. Instead, they went for great actors. Because those actors will make their characters the star. Chemistry between them, the way they adapt to the setting, their dialect, the way they seamlessly fit into it. And they play them with very real life values. They are vulnerable, they get scared. There's no macho heroism here. Every actor brings his interesting take on their character, which makes them their own. And after watching the film, you refer to the characters with their own names, not the actors. And number five, relatability. The moments you see with these characters, the exchanges they have between them, they act like they are friends. And watching them, we feel like we're looking at ourselves, our friends. That's how we talk, that's how we discuss things. Their dialogues, their jokes, everything feels relatable. We feel that camaraderie because we have the same with our friends. The way these characters react in a situation, maybe that's how our friends will react. It is a supernatural narrative, but all of these things grounds the story. We feel an instant connection. Them being single, discussing about who they love, them getting scared, that 50 rupees petrol fill up, which always bite them at the end. The way we see them living their life, sitting at a small eatery, discussing, doing a triply on the bike, just roaming around the town. All of these things make it very authentic. And with the sequel, they definitely raised the scale, but they never lost their essence. And that's their biggest victory. In this horror comedy universe, there are two other films, and the similar attributes may apply to them also. But one more other constant thing they all have is they are kind of uneven for me. They are not flawless. There are some issues here and there. Some have more, some have less. But still, overall, it's pure joy to watch. And with the latest film, the blend of the universe is so good. Like, there are so many surprises. I'm not gonna reveal anything, but you better go and watch the film, or else you'll get spoiled on social media. Now here you can check out my full-on review of Stree 2 in detail without spoilers. What are your thoughts? What are some other horror comedy films which have worked really well? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.